Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of Pop Goes the Culture, Episode 1, Travis and Chris versus the world.
It's got a nice long ring to it.
Yeah, I think so. That's Episode 1, Roman numeral 1.
Yes, I.
Yes.
Episode I.
Yes, very good. Okay, so on today's episode, myself and Chris will be discussing video games.
Yes.
All about video games, something near to dear to both of our hearts. Basically because it's pretty much been in our lives, our whole lives, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Did I say that twice?
Something like that.
Okay.
I understood it.
Alright, so let's just get right into it. So, current systems. What do we have right now? Okay, so Chris, you want to start this off? What do you?
Ooh, that's kind of an unfair question.
No, it's not. It's a simple question. What systems do you have right now, man?
What systems do I play with right now?
Yes.
Okay. As of the last week, my girlfriend and I have been playing. I got her Tetrisphere for the N64. It's at her apartment.
So you actually play it on the 64?
Yeah, I actually play it. Not an emulator.
Right.
Not the Wii or the Wii U through the eShop. No, the cartridge with the box and the manual.
All right, that's
on the controller, on the system with the yellow controller.
That's what's getting you going right now.
That's what's getting us going.
All right.
And then we also have Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U.
On the Wii U?
Yes. Mario Kart on the Wii U.
We'll be getting into the Wii U later on.
Yeah.
But okay. All right.
And then where I currently stay at with my sister, I let my nephew, my oldest nephew, Junior, he, ever since I moved in, he's been staring at my Xbox 360 with like a cold stare. So now it's in his room.
Okay.
I would come home from work and he'd in my room and he'd be on my bed playing WWE 13. So now every day since it's been summer, I knock into his room just to say hello that I'm home, and I look at the TV and I look at him and he has the Xbox 360 in his hand with the light blinking, and I look down and he presses pause because he wants to talk to me, and it's the CM Punk screen on WWE 13. So that's all he's playing.
Yes.
So and I dabble with him every now and then. I don't play wrestling games that often. So I tried playing Ghost a couple of days ago while he wasn't there.
The
Call of Duty Ghost.
Call of Duty Ghost. Yeah. Okay.
And I have a Nintendo and a Super Nintendo and a GameCube. I rotate them. Sometimes I bring them up to my nephew's room. Sometimes I take them to Lisa's house, and we'll just dabble in whatever games I end up bringing.
And those are the systems you've had, right? Because I remember at one point seeing a picture of a game room that you had at one point.
Oh, Lord, that game room. Oh,
that was pretty intense, man. That was.
I found a Mexican way to have everything hooked up on one television. There's these, I don't know what you call it, but it's like an outlet box where you can plug in.
Yeah. You put multiple, and you can switch the screen.
Yeah.
I have one too,
Yeah.
So it's Mexican way. It's an actual piece of electronics you can buy to switch over different things, man. Come on now.
Because I'm one track mind. I thought, oh man, you buy 8 different tube TVs.
So just because you bought it at Walmart doesn't mean it's Mexican.
Yeah. I was shocked because there's so many of them there. It's like I figured, oh, this is the border. Like every Walmart's like close to a border or something.
It's getting there.
We're getting there. Yeah. But yeah, at my old place, I had my Nintendo, my Super Nintendo, my GameCube, and my N64, and my Wii all hooked up on one TV, and my computer was also plugged into it. So I'd sit there.
Screw the computer. Come on, man. You got all that other stuff.
Yeah, so I had all that. But now that I'm in between places, I'm just...
So right now it's the 64.
64, Wii U, the 360, and my nephew's Wii. Every now and then I'll bump in with Mario Kart when he's playing.
Because I got you on my friends list on 360, but I don't really ever see you on the 360.
If I give you my nephew's...
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't even have Xbox Live. But if you link up, because he has online access, you link up to it, you'll see him on there all the time, and he only plays 2 games. He took over my Halo 4, and he took over my WWE. He's taking over all my stuff. He's taking over my friends. we go to pay-per-views and stuff, and we hang out, and my nephew's like, hey, tell Lisa I said hi, when are we going to go watch wrestling together? And like, whenever we go watch wrestling, hey, so we're going to Aaron's house to watch the so-and-so
well,
whatever?
I did sit next to him at TLC, and I must say he's much more enjoyable than you are.
A broomstick with a pair of pants is more enjoyable than I am.
Yeah, and he's civilized. He kept his clothes on, unlike some people around here.
Hey, you don't want people walking around in your carpet, so I took off my flip flops and I'm barefoot. So
I'll get the mop out ready. All right.
What systems do you have?
Okay. Well, currently in my living room right now, which was not supposed to be in my living room, I kind of conned my wife into let me have them in the living room. I have the PS3 and the Xbox 360. That's what I have right now. I did have the Wii.
You did have the Wii.
I did have the Wii.
I don't think I ever heard you mention this before.
Well, we had it and I liked it.
But
I think the novelty was starting to wear off a little bit for me. But the kicker was we got the Kinect for the 360.
Oh, okay.
Because before I had PS3 and Wii.
Uh-huh.
And then for Christmas, my wife she got me the new remodeled 360 with the Kinect.
S?
Yeah, and I was like, "Well, no hands at all. Okay, bye Wii. Nice knowing you." And we just sold that to family or something, friends or something.
Mexicans.
Yeah. Well. So that's what I have right now, and I guess currently on the 360, I've always been a PS person. Okay. And I've always had the majority of my games for the PS2, PS3, but I've noticed I've switched over. I'm starting to convert some of my games. When I'm buying new games, it's for the 360 now. Two reasons for that. One, the PS3 is serving just fine as a media unit for my Blu-rays and apps like Netflix and things like that. I think the apps and things like that work a lot better on the PS3 for me. It's just for me. I still play every once in a while on the PS3, but mainly it's for the 360. I got games on 360 now because I noticed that's where all my friends are on 360. Even though, ironically, I never play online with them. It's like, Abel's online. Yeah, okay.
It's weird because when you have I've noticed it too. When I notice a lot of people are playing online, they're not playing what I'm playing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to play what they're playing.
Exactly.
Like if I'm in the mood to play Plants vs. Zombies, to hell with Halo and Call of Duty, I'm going to get my zombie on.
And I think Xbox 360 is a little more user-friendly for my wife. And since it is in the living room, I do try to, be accommodating to her needs for video games because she has turned into quite the gamer there.
Really?
Yeah. It's not like hardcore gaming like Call of Duty or anything like that, but...
what does she play?
Well, what? Huh?
She plays Peggle?
Yes!
Yes! High 3 for picking keeper. Yeah, I love Peggle.
Actually, we downloaded Peggle 2.
Yeah, you told me about that a while back. They ported it down because it used to be only on Xbox One.
She's also into the dance games.
Oh.
Actually, matter of fact, before we came over tonight, she was actually playing Dance Central 3.
Oh. Yeah. Is she a Nintendo fan at all?
A little bit.
A little bit?
But the 360 that's the most I've seen her play. So I don't know what it, it's the controller, ease to use, things like that, I guess.
Yeah.
She was playing the Wii for a little bit. When we, matter of fact, when we had the Wii, we had Smash Brothers Brawl. Yeah, we had Smash Brothers Brawl, and we had some friends over, and that was it was quite fun. Yeah, I had the two controls. Well, we're gonna get into that in here in a minute about favorite games and genres and things like that. So I don't want to delve too much into. We'll say that for here in just a minute. But my favorite my games that I'm playing right now are for the 360 actually. Injustice.
Oh yeah,
Injustice
the fighting game. You've got almost every map pack or costume or everything.
Everyone now.
Everything already.
Everyone now. I didn't before, but my wife for birthday, Christmas, I don't know what it was. She got me some points.
Bloop.
There it goes.
Just in time for the $25 Super Duper limited edition.
Exactly. Yeah.
That has everything already on it.
Yeah.
I've heard so many good things about Injustice, and apparently the new Mortal Kombat that's coming out is off of that engine. I need to warm up.
Well, the last Mortal Kombat, that was like probably one of the last games I bought for the PS3. just because Mortal Kombat and there's the WWE games, the yearly games, I've always had those on the same systems, and I try to, I guess my OCD kicked in, and I like to have the same games on the same systems. Mm-hmm. The only adjustment to that has been the Batman. That's another game, the Arkham series. I got the first one, Arkham Asylum, for PS3, and the other ones have been for the 360.
City and Origins?
Mm-hmm.
You got Origins?
Mm-hmm. I haven't beat that one yet. And I'll tell you, I love the fact that it's a different developer that made the game, but they were able to incorporate they were able to use all the maps and everything. So if you're familiar with Arkham City, and you play that game, you're familiar with the maps and the areas, it's all the same in Arkham Origins, except it's fresher because it's an origin story. So so they kind of tweak things here and there. So if you remember buildings and things like that, it's pretty. The thing that irritated the hell out of me out of Origins is trying to get into missions. You have to get past like certain gangs, whatever. Which in Arkham City, it's not so bad because there's a bunch of thugs. You know, they got baseball bats and things like that, and you're fucking Batman, right? They ain't gonna stop them. But in Origins, you're going up against Gotham PD because you're still a vigilante and they don't know who you are and this and that, and you're going up against 5 or 6 SWAT dudes in like armor and tasers, automatic rifles, SWAT gear, the shields, and it's like, man, screw this. All right, are you okay? Tell me this: you're a gamer. I'm a gamer. Do you do this? Like, whenever you are playing a game and you're stuck in a spot, do you like restart it and keep going, or do you try it a few times and then you say, "What? I gotta put it down," and I walk away, and then from that you just don't want to put the game in anymore because you know where you're at in the game and you don't want to get pissed off? Do you get like that too? Yeah,
exactly. That was my issue with Deadpool. 360. Oh my god! On a scale of 1 to 10, the comedic value was about a 46. It was freaking hilarious.
46 out of what?
Out of 10. So, and the game, there were times where it was hard, and I had to stop, or I'd take a break, or take a piss, or get laid, and then I'd come back and play it. Until I got to the very last level, and it was pretty much, all right, so you've beaten all these people so far. The last level, we're going to put all the people you've beaten at once. Go fuck yourself. And after about 45 minutes to an hour, on 4 different occasions, I checked on Best Buy to see what my trade-in value was and saw that I got extra 50% credit. Bye-bye. Which is weird because now that you mention it, because on the 360... the only games that I've ever beaten to the very end so far have been Peggle Knights, both of them together. If you want to combine those. Plants vs. Zombies. And that's it. Oh, I'm sorry. Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Okay.
That's the only games I finished through. Like Deadpool, I can't. I gave up on it. Ghosts, I'm like getting bored of it. Like I'm not really a big fan of that.
You can't get into it.
Right? I can't get into it. I've got a couple of old Call of Duty games that I got at like a pawn shop for like $4 or $5 each to try because I've heard they were that good. But other games I just I've Dirt 2, I couldn't beat that. Forza Motorsports 4, I think, for the 360, the last one before they went new gen.
Okay, yeah.
I couldn't beat that because it got too monotonous and too easy that there wasn't any, even on hard and like expert, there wasn't any motivation for me to finish it.
Yeah.
I was like, so, okay, so I couldn't finish that either. It's weird on that system. There's games like even Super Street Fighter 4, I don't think I've beaten it.
But you weren't a Street Fighter guy, were you?
I'm a fighting guy sometimes, depending on the game. Arkham Asylum I bought, and I just wasn't motivated enough to finish it.
Okay. Fair enough, because that's a pretty big game.
It's weird, because when I was younger, I used to like find the cheat codes, or I'd go online and I'd try to find out whatever, and now I don't want to do that. I'd rather find it out on my own to the bitter end, or I get rid of it. Paper Mario for the Wii. I got there's 100 levels. I got to level 94 where there's all these clouds and you're supposed to find different things. And I got so frustrated.
Well, let's talk about this for a second. Cheat codes. We grew up in a generation.
The Game Genie.
The Game Genie.
And the Contra Code.
And the Contra Code. Then after that it was Game Shark, if you remember that little phase.
Yeah.
You know what kills me for first-person shooters? I grew up for first-person shooters, Doom and Doom 2 and Wolfenstein. Stay with me on this. All those games have God codes. You type in a code on the keyboard and you're God. You can't die. You don't run out of ammo. You get spoiled on that shit, man. And then when you come in here to this current generation, I guess I just, that got me lazy. I don't want to say spoiled. It got me lazy. I don't want to bother with this dying crap when I can just put on a God code and be done with it. Are you like that too? I mean, just being in that mindset of, hey, where's all the good codes at? Where's the Konami code at?
I tried to dabble in it. I didn't do the Konami code that often. I remember unlocking Unlimited Turbo for NBA Jam Tournament Edition on the Super Nintendo.
I only did the Konami code for 2 games. Actually, 1 game, really, because I needed it the most.
Super Contra?
Contra.
Oh, the first one?
Contra. That game is... No! Okay. Alright, you know what?
Are we going to the next chapter? Act 2.
We're going to jump around here for a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, this is a good transition. It makes sense, because we're going to talk about our first systems.
Oh my God. I had the fondest memory.
This is going to take a while.
Yeah. Because,
first of all, how old are you?
I am going to be 33 in 10 days.
Happy birthday. That's the best you're going to get from me. I turned 34 this year.
Grandpa.
Okay.
1 year older, your life is over. Yeah.
Listen here, you little whippersnapper. Yeah. You see, what the thing is
the young people don't understand what the games are all about.
It's all about the pudding and the Jello,
and the Kodak film and the Crystal Pepsi.
2 points if you recognize all those references. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Christmas 1988. I woke up to the Nintendo.
Nice.
It was the Super Pack. It came with Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt with the Zapper, 2 controllers. You're set to go, right?
Yeah.
You got everything. That right there will set you for life, really. Now, that wasn't my intro to video games. My intro to video games was my older cousins. They had the Atari 2600. Ooh, the joystick, the joystick, the classic, the Pitfall and all that, Qbert, any classic Atari game I had access to. And I was a kid when I was playing it, so yeah. That was my intro. My first system that I owned was the Nintendo NES.
Nice.
Now I'm playing with power. And what was your first system? So I don't want to tell mine.
We're on the same wavelength, dude. I've got fond memories of taking the 40 Metro bus, the P-Core, right down to 34th Street, and my mom and me going to the Kmart. Mm-hmm. And putting payments on layaway for it, and then one day because my dad was a trucker all his life, that one day he was in town and it was time for me to my mom to make the final payment, so he drove us, and I had this huge ass box. I'm walking out of the thing with this huge ass box, and my dad's walking in front rigging security guard, make sure nobody ganks in front of me, because back then I remember being a kid. If you had an NES, doesn't matter what kind of reputation you had, that was going to change. Yeah,
because everybody wanted to go to your house because you had the Nintendo.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I just had my fond memories of Nintendo were, besides the games, but were just we were down the road from a Randall's grocery store. Okay, does anybody remember Randall's?
Yes.
Okay. At that time, they were the only grocery store in my area that had a video game section. No, it wasn't a video game section. It was a video section, where you had to rent VHSs. Okay, that's another topic for another day.
Yeah.
But over to the side, against the wall, there was a brand new section for this thing called video games in Nintendo. And I still remember, okay? I can't remember shit that happened 20 minutes ago. I forget your name sometimes. Okay, I don't remember. Your name is Chris.
Pablo.
Okay, yeah, Pablo. But I can remember my first game that I rented.
Really?
The first game that I rented, Tiger Shark. It was an over-the-head point of view, kind of like 1942, but you were in a, I don't think it was an Apache helicopter, but it was a wartime helicopter. You're going around villages and just shooting things, pretty much. That's how it was back then. You just went around and shoot things. That was my first game that I rented. Why I remember that, I have no effing idea. But that was the first game that I rented.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't top that. I don't remember renting stuff I don't remember renting until well into the Super Nintendo.
And now that I said that, I probably won't remember that anymore.
Well, don't worry, you got it on tape.
Yeah. Oh shit, we're not recording. No,
Man.
So that's, and things like that. Just going to the video store and waiting for the newest, seeing the latest releases. That's how it all started for me. Of course, that's how I went through the ages. Up until recently.
Yeah.
But that's, if you're a kid in the 80s and 90s. I mean, that's how it was. And that system lasted me. I don't know what happened to my original one, but I remember 92. I want to say 92. I got a Genesis.
Never played Genesis.
Never played Genesis.
I might have played a few times. I never owned one. I might have played Sonic a couple of times.
You know what I did for the Super Nintendo? This is gonna sound weird. No, not weird. I guess I don't know. Because that was a big war going on. Do you remember the Nintendo Sega war at the time?
Mario versus Sonic.
Genesis can, what Nintendo don't, or
what Nintendo don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Such a bad slogan, Jesus. I remember because my mom bought me the Genesis for Christmas, and it was cool because of Sonic, and I was 12, and to a little kid, Sonic is badass.
Yeah.
Compared to this little plumber dude
with the hat.
Yeah, the hat and cartoony and whatnot. Of course, now we like it better, but that's another story. Yeah. What we would do every so often when some new games would come out for the Super Nintendo, we would actually rent the system from the video store. Before Blockbuster was in our area, I think Blockbuster was a thing. It came out, but it wasn't in our area. We had Video Central, which turned into Hollywood Video.
Oh, yeah.
Which turned into empty lots everywhere.
Yeah.
but originally it was Video Central. I remember when they opened up, that was the shit. I mean, that was the hot place to go. Because remember, 92, I mean, that era, that was VHSs. I mean, videos in general were just, I don't want to say new.
The rental idea.
Yeah, exactly. So you can just rent.
Buzz.
Wait a few months and you can go to a video store and just rent it for a few bucks. Okay. And that's when they started doing the $1.99 things and different things like that. Mm-hmm. That's actually where I got introduced to old wrestling tape trading or tapes. But
nice. That's another episode.
I think there's another podcast for that.
Yeah.
But that was where we would actually go. They were the first place that I actually saw where you can actually rent systems. I coerced my mother into letting me rent the system for a weekend or a week. I can't remember what it was, but I would get like 2 or 3 games, and it was like Super Contra was one, Super Castlevania, Super WrestleMania were some of the ones that are.
Oh, for the Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
you must mean Contra 3 Alien Wars.
It was Super Contra to me. Because even then at the time it was kind of funny. Oh, it's Super. Okay, all this thing is Super. Of course, there's like Street Fighter and Super Mario World, things like that. Of course, you play those first, but yeah, that's my earliest memories of the Super Nintendo. And I actually didn't get a Super Nintendo of my own until my late teens when I just went out and a friend didn't want it, and they said, "You want it?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So that's how I have my Super Nintendo now.
Nice.
You said you never had a Genesis.
Never.
So you were Super Nintendo.
I've been a Nintendo kid from birth. I had my Nintendo.
You should have a tattoo or something saying that.
Something like that. Like if there was only something on my left side of my neck or something. I don't know. There's just yellow rash here. If I don't know where I got it. I had my original Nintendo until Tropical Storm Allison screwed it up. I lost a lot of stuff there. So I had to rebuy another one. I know, oof, yeah. And I learned my lesson because for Hurricane Rita, it happened like maybe a month or two after Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans and saw what it did to them, and it paranoid me the hell out. Mm-hmm. I worked at Capital One on Westheimer that had a parking garage, so I got my old Camaro that I had at the time, and I got all my important stuff. Mm-hmm. So basically,
wait, first year, what year Camaro?
95. It was like F-body.
Okay.
So I got all my video game systems. I got all my my posters. And I got all my poetry books, and I got all my CDs, and I got all my DVDs, which I didn't have that many at the time, but the stuff I had was because I had like import stuff, Japanese stuff. And I packed it in the car, filled it full of gas, drove to work on that day that they told me, hey, you know what, we're about to pour down, you need to get out of here. I parked the car in the middle of the parking garage, and I took the bus back home, and I got my mom's car, and I hauled ass to San Antonio, and I made sure that car was there in the garage where no one had access to it, no one knew it was in it, and all my stuff was safe, and I do that a lot after that.
Makes sense, actually. Where's this parking lot now?
I think the badge still works. I don't know. So yeah, I moved up to the Super Nintendo. God, I love that system. I didn't for all the systems that I've ever played. I never really delved in too many games for each system. Like I only picked the stuff that I knew I would like. So
well, back then it was a money thing. Well, it's still a money thing, but you had to go off what your parents would want to buy for you. And it was the same thing for me. I didn't have a lot of games. Oh, we would rent a lot. That's what it was. We just rented everything. So I've played a lot of games. I just didn't own a lot of games.
Yeah, I don't feel like I've played too many games as opposed to how many games were actually in the library. Like NES has like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games. I feel like I might have only cracked 50, 55.
But out of all the hundreds of games, how many
good ones?
Exactly, yeah. That are classics, that still hold up,
Like Super Nintendo, like no joke, Mario World right off the top. I would beat it 100%, then I'd clear it out to start over again.
I've got more, I want to say a more classic game maybe from the Nintendo than the Genesis. Genesis, there's the Sonic series, of course. There's a couple X-Men games that I loved to play. I'm drawing a blank on some other ones, but
because it's been so long.
Yeah, there's that, and then it went to like they had a lot of gimmicks. Like the zap. They try to outdo the Zapper, so they got like the 6-shooter thing. I can't remember what the Minister.
Yeah,
it had like a scope and a rifle arm and all, and it had a 6-in-1 game cartridge. That was one gimmick. Then they came out the Sega CD, which I kind of like the Sega CD. It's gimmicky as hell, but I mean, Sewer Shark was the game that came with it. That was a fun game. I don't know. I had nostalgia. I think is kicking in right now, and it's better than what I'm actually. In my head, it's better than what it actually is. I know, I'm sure. But that was when the first Mortal Kombat. Well, no, I'm sorry. I take that back. Mortal Kombat was the first on Genesis, and then it came back out on the Sega CD, and I got it again.
Did it look better on the Sega CD?
I want to say so. Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
But I know you love bragging to your Super Nintendo friends that your Genesis version had blood.
Yes, they had blood, and I laughed at their faces. Like, what is this piece of shit? And what is this? What is this gray stuff that's coming out?
It's sweat.
Yeah. Do you remember? Did you have Mortal Kombat for?
A friend of mine saved up his money, and a Jehovah's Witness friend, and he bought it and he hid it under his mattress.
Yeah.
So when the parents were asleep and we'd all had spent the night at his house, break out the Super Nintendo Mortal Kombat, and we start hitting each other and everything. And yeah, we knew because we would play it at the grocery store. We knew what it was supposed to be.
You're about to beat me to it. I was about to mention that because there's one aspect of video games in the early '90s that we haven't really touched on yet. Arcades.
Oh.
Okay. We had. I want to say, I always go to Pasadena Town Square Mall. I'm
back then.
I'm yeah, definitely back then. You wouldn't go there now, trust me. No. But yeah, back in the day, Pasadena Town Square Mall was the place to go, not just for arcades, but that was the mall in Pasadena. It was a good place. It was a good mall. They had a huge patio area with a good fountain area, and they had a little big statue. Had a lot of unique things for a mall to have.
Yeah. And
one of them was a huge arcade.
Do you remember the name of the place?
I want to say, I could be wrong. I want to say Full Tilt.
Okay.
I could be totally wrong on that. If anybody knows the answer to that, if anybody's from Pasadena, I think I want to say Full Tilt. There was one later on in Alameda Mall. I don't remember the name of that one, but that was another pretty big one.
I think that was a Tilt one too. It was like right on the wall. Like you didn't go inside the mall. Like you could have just gone into
because it was right at the end of the patio area.
Yeah.
It's weird all the arcades are around the patio area. Or why am I saying patio? It's the food court.
Yeah.
What?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, food court. Go back last 5 minutes. Anytime I say patio, just replace it with food court. All right. So, they're always next to the food court. Baybrook Mall had one too, but it always seemed really small to me for some reason.
I never went out there. I thought it was too far when I was younger. Or my parents thought it was too far. I never went out the belt. So like I had a few glimpses of Alameda.
So where would you go to?
Oh Lord!
Besides convenience stores, we're gonna get in here in just a second.
Northline Mall specifically.
Northline
I know
Mall.
it off the top of my head. I grew up in it. It's it was a timeout, and then later on it became Sega's timeout.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Where it was the arcade place to go, and they had like I remember they had like 3 different versions of Street Fighter. And then
everybody did back then.
And then they traded it up, all of them, to have the latest version because it was Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, Street Fighter 2
Thunder.
It's something else, like Lightning Edition or something like that. And then it became like...
Was there a Championship Edition?
Yeah, I said it already.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, no, listen to you.
Oh, no, it was Turbo and then Hyper.
That's
Turbo, Hyper, Championship Edition, and then they broke out Super Street Fighter 2.
The 4 new characters.
Yeah. And then Super Street Fighter 2, like, Championship Edition or something like that. There was more after that. Oh,
you know what I remember about Super Street Fighter 2? I went to the arcade, and that was the first time I remember seeing a detailed cut scene. Mm-hmm. And it was, like, showing, like, Ryu all, like, getting all pumped up for Hadouken. Mm-hmm. And it was, like, the first, like, animated cinematic sequence.
If you were playing it one player, it told a story.
I'm going to backtrack for just a second. X-Men. You know what I'm talking about when I say X-Men.
6 players, 2 TVs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not, yeah.
So 4 players, right?
They had 2 versions. They had the arcade.
Because they had the single screen.
The single screen was 4 players, and then the big one was 6 players on 2 screens.
Yeah, the single one was where all the cheap arcade were, Mm-hmm. But the real arcade places had the double screen.
Celebration Station. Right off of 59. And it's still there. It's a Zuma, but that building is still there. And yeah, man, they had like this walk. There's like, you go in there and it's all like a big open floor, but then there's like a little indention where you take steps to go down, and there's like more arcades. And at the very end of that extension, had that in a caddy corner was the 2 screens at the 6
That's
players.
the only place you could put it because it's so big.
Everyone wanted to be Wolverine. Nobody wanted to play.
Not necessarily.
The people I hung out with, nobody wanted to be Storm. Nobody wanted to be Storm. Nobody wanted to be Jubilee. People thought Dazzler. Nightcrawler, they didn't like their Turbo. Cyclops was weak. And then Colossus, like everybody, the people
dude, that was awesome.
As soon as they died, they wanted to die just so they could and then as soon as they got back to life, the first thing they do, they rushed through all their specials without even knowing, dude, save it for something important, you dummy.
Not for one of those plant, no. Wait for a screen full of Sentinels.
Oh, Lord.
Actually, the X-Men game, the X-Men arcade, I take that back. X-Men Arcade was the first sequence, animated sequence. Yeah. With Magneto and the Brotherhood.
Welcome to
Exactly, yeah. Oh, God. There was that one, and also I'm not going to not mention Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. Ooh. How many quarters did you lose on that motherfucker? Yeah.
I remember using a $10 roll once, and I still didn't beat it. And I played it 4 players.
Yeah.
And I still couldn't beat it. I was pissed.
I was so happy when I beat that game. You know where I played that game? Pistol Pete's Pizza.
I think I played it at Showbiz Pizza a few times.
That's another aspect that's not there anymore. I mean, Showbiz, which turned into Chuck E. Cheese.
No, there still is. I mean, well,
it's Chuck E. Cheese.
It's focused. It's geared more towards the younger kids now than it is the older.
It's always been the younger kids. We're just older.
They used to have games like Ninja Turtles and X-Men,
right,
and some fighting games that weren't so graphic. Now it's all just like kiddie stuff.
I wouldn't know. I haven't been in one.
I've been. Chuck E. Cheese, Peter Piper's is the same way. Like, instead of nothing but video games and like skee ball, like, hey, let's put a ball pit in here and let's do all this other stuff. It's more geared towards the like birthday parties and kids, not to like like Celebration Station. Like, that stuff was geared to like teenagers. They had batting cages, they had go karts, they had the mini golf. Make out golf, basically, if you got the right tunnel.
Right, yeah.
And then all the video games and shit were out there. And dude, even there, my fondest arcade memories, I don't know if you remember, if you've been here long enough, there used to be a Malibu Grand Prix, but it was a castle off a 610 and I-10.
I'm not too familiar with that one.
It was a Malibu Grand Prix castle, and it had like a go-kart track with like legit go-karts where you had to have a legitimate license to drive.
Now, I remember Super Track.
That might have been next to it. And that place,
the Super Track was the place to go.
Dude, that castle had like a line as far as your eye can see. When you're a kid, everything looks big.
Right.
So you see this line of like 25 pinball machines, and then all these games that are like right in the center. Oh,
were you a big pinball
I loved pinball. My dad got me hooked into pinball. Almost every other Saturday, we would go to Malibu. He'd break out like his pocket full of he had his huge ass hand. There were quarters like dripping down. And he's like, "Oh my god, this is crack for kids." And I'm at there freaking Malibu getting high. With
and so you had to convert them to tokens.
Oh, I hated that. You know why? Because all the tokens were different. Like the Chuck E. Cheese tokens were the size of like flattened nickels off a railroad track, and like Malibus were the size of like Canadian quarters, which like even bigger than the normal.
Well, because they want you to spin them there.
Yeah, they want you to spin them.
It makes sense. God. Like a kid, you're like, oh, okay, whatever, but you're older, you're like, oh, that's why.
Well, you're a parent, like you motherfucker.
Yeah. I was never really big into pinball machines.
Really?
When I got older, I appreciated them a lot more, and I do play. If I see one, I'm gonna mess around with it, But when I was a kid, I got it. I would play, once in a while. But if like all the arcades were taken, then I'd go to the pinball machine. I guess I'll play this pinball machine. But when I was a kid, early '90s, arcades was where it was at.
Yeah.
So.
Especially like if you knew you were an arcade regular when you got your quarter and you put it right there on the screen and you said next.
Yeah.
And you just waited in line, and at half the time I wasn't looking at the screen, I was looking at the dude pressing his buttons and what he was doing and how he was doing. I was like, I got this.
You studied. I studied because there was no internet. There was no cheat guides or anything like that. You had to play.
And this wasn't like AI. Like AI, you can pretty much figure it out. A lot of the computers, the machines they're like programmed already to a certain moveset, so you can figure out the pattern pretty quick.
Right. Yeah.
But when you're playing with another person that has no rules or no bounds or whatever, he's gonna do whatever the hell he wants to do. You have to see what he's doing and how he's doing it. So that's why I started learning like the mental part of gaming. Right. Like, there's one thing when you're playing pinball and it's all on you, and you're playing like Mario Brothers and it's all on you, as opposed to fighting somebody or playing against somebody for the first time. You know what the hell they're gonna do. Man, I loved arcades. Yeah. I wish that there were more of them around to cater to people our age, as opposed.
There's a few places that do it, but it's like few and far between.
They're very few and far between.
Yeah. Let's get back on track here a little bit. Back to consoles. Because clearly we have a big passion for arcade games and things that happened back in our
day.
Yeah, in our day. We mentioned, I had a Nintendo Genesis. From there, it went to PS or PlayStation.
Oh, so you were in the movement from the beginning, the PlayStation movement when they came in.
Yeah. And again, first game for that. Mortal Kombat.
I think how much have you invested in the original Mortal Kombat?
Hold on. Genesis, Sega CD, PlayStation. Later on for PlayStation 2, I think it was Armageddon. I know I bought 3, I think, at one point. Armageddon for sure. Trilogy. I love Trilogy. That was fun. That was like over 60 characters, like like Mortal Kombat Heaven.
Yeah.
And then the later ones that came out for the some of the current systems, but well, back then Mortal Kombat was like, it's on a new system, I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so PlayStation, Dreamcast.
I dabbled in Dreamcast. A friend of mine had it. Sold it to another friend, so we kept it in the family, kind of.
Right. Dreamcast, and then it went to PS2, PS3, Xbox 360, or Xbox One, or Xbox.
Yeah.
And then Xbox 360.
So you had the old Xbox 2, the first one, that huge ass clunky wired controller.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I didn't really play. I had some games for it. I like the ones that were just exclusive to that. Of course, Halo. Yeah. Jade Empire. That was a beautiful game. I wish they'd make. I don't want to say I wish they'd make another one, but maybe HD it. Yeah. And there's some other ones that I love playing on that one, but I never really played it. And then my buddy showed me how to hack it. So we put a new hard drive in there, and we got a system. So now it's basically an emulator. Yeah. It can play DVDs now, and it's got a whole bunch of old arcade games on there.
Oh, nice.
And even then, I really haven't touched it since. It's over. My parents have it. My brother's playing it. So whatever he did with it, I don't know. But now I have my current systems, the PS3 and the. I mentioned before I had the Wii and then the 360. For you. You kind of mentioned you're always a Nintendo guy. Mm-hmm. You had the Nintendo, Super Nintendo.
I basically had almost all the consoles.
Did you have any non-Nintendo systems growing up, or come along the ages here?
No. The only one that I can say that I have now is the 360, and I was really late to the party. Yeah. I got mine.
I was late to the Xbox party. I was always a PS person.
The E3 where they announced the 360S. Mm-hmm. They had already cut down the arcade ones, like the arcade bundles for the old system, from $199 to $149.
Right. Yeah.
That week of E3, Target was giving out a $50 gift card on top of that, so it was basically 100 bones.
Right.
And I said, for $100, I might as well get my feet wet. Yeah. So exactly. I got it, and I was like, "Fuck! Why didn't I get into this sooner?"
Too late, right?
Yeah. Okay. I had Nintendo, Super Nintendo, N64, GameCube, Wii, and I had the Wii U for a little bit.
I'm sorry, I'm forgetting my other my other Nintendo systems. The 64, I got that. That was after the Genesis.
Yeah,
I got the 64 in '96, I think, and then GameCube, and then the Wii.
Mine's way out of chronological order. I had the Nintendo growing up. I got the Super Nintendo growing up, and then there was this phase where I don't know if I wasn't into it or I just didn't make the time to play them.
You're growing up, trying to, and then you're for a little while.
I was dating a girl.
Oh, here we go. That's why.
And I would play the PlayStation with her son.
Okay.
She had like an 8-year-old son or 9-year-old son, and she liked the time that I was spending with him. So for Christmas, she got me a GameCube, and I told her, I was like, "Man, I appreciate that. I used to be a gamer when I was a kid." And the first game I got was Mario Kart Double Dash.
Okay.
And that was it. I got right back into video game mode after that. So I went to the basement and I found my old Nintendo. I found my old Super Nintendo, and I started getting back into video games. And then like a couple of years after that, that was when the Wii came out. So when the Wii was coming out, I was ready. Like I waited in line at Best Buy from like 8 o'clock at night to like 7:30 in the morning when they opened the doors. And
so you did the.
That's the first time I ever did that. Yeah.
Have you done it since then?
Yeah.
Really?
Like that. I got it like in April or something, because it was in the beginning of the year, and then or in the middle of the year, and then I did it again a few months later because a new girl that I was dating, her parents wanted to get one for the family because my ex-wife, she had like three sisters and a brother, so me and a mutual friend of ours, we camped out again to get a system for them, and I did have to camp out one more time for the Wii U, but that one was at midnight, so I was in line for like 2 or 3 hours, and not even.
What do you think about that camping out? Because that's the media always likes to take pictures and laugh at the people standing in overnight. And I mean, I would never. Me personally, I wouldn't do it.
Depending on the group, there's something weird. Not weird in a bad way, but there's something unique about Nintendo guys. Well, both times that I waited in line, like I got to know like maybe 30 people. Mm-hmm. You know, we had DSs and we linked up with our friend codes, and everybody's playing. Mm-hmm. I was like, "Hey man, you want to try this?" Like, people, it felt like a family almost, and you're waiting in line, and everyone's like on the same train of thought. You didn't feel alone. Like you're like, "Man, I'm gonna sit."
It made the time go by,
dude. There were people playing football or just goofing around in the parking lot, and just it felt like an event, you know. And that time went by really quick. Who's that, Optimus?
Houston Wrestling Radio. What the hell is that?
The competition. Men in stretchy pants.
Let's see, where were we? Oh, well, you just mentioned something just a second ago. I wanted to bring that up because that was one thing we haven't really talked about, because I don't know how much of an impact it's had on our lives, but handhelds.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think it's any secret, but I'm going to say that Nintendo is the king of handhelds. You can doubt that? Out of the history of
the history, yeah. I would say that.
What was your first handheld?
Ooh, I remember getting... this is how old school I am.
You can't be older than me.
I think I got somehow... my cousin Sam Villarreal, his dad was a cop, so he was pretty much an Asian kid. He got everything. Oh. He got every system, every game. He had the Genesis and the Nintendo Switch. Everything. I think I somehow got an old Game & Watch handheld when Nintendo did those old handhelds, like the Tiger handhelds. Nintendo did those.
Did you have any Tiger handhelds?
I had a few. I can't remember.
I think I had two of them, but Tiger was
before Nintendo got in the role with the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color, and then the Game Boy Advanced, and then the Game Boy Micro, and the Game Boy SP, and all that.
And I think Tiger tried to compete for a little while with Game Boy, but as soon as I can remember my 9th birthday, might have been my 10th birthday. I don't know. It was one of those birthdays. It was for a birthday. I remember because it was one of the first times I had like a big birthday party. You know, my parents. You know, we had a lot of friends from school and everything. We went to Crystal Pete's Pizza, and I actually got a Game Boy. It was the original Game Boy. The
original thick ass Game Boy.
Yeah,
the gray one,
Tetris and all. Yes,
nice.
That was. And matter of fact, I have a picture in one of my albums or whatever my mom had. I don't know, but there's a picture of me and my friends in my room. They're playing something on Nintendo, and I'm over here looking at my Game Boy that I just got. So, and that I played the hell out of Game Boy.
4 AA's.
Yeah.
Tetris.
I mean, that was. Yeah, that was innovative. You know, for its time.
It's funny because when I owned my own handheld, I would buy some of the old stuff through the eShop. Those games were freaking hard, man. I remember buying. They hadn't touched it or HD'd it or anything. Right. I got Mario Land 6 golden coins.
Haven't played that one.
The old school Tetris holds up. The old first Mega Man that came out on the Game Boy. Oh, that holds up.
Did you ever play the first Zelda game that came out for Game Boy?
You're gonna kill me. I'm not a huge Zelda guy.
You pissed me off before. It's not gonna surprise me. That was one of my first games that I played for Game Boy.
Yeah.
And I will say
Was it the same style as the original Zelda with the gold cartridge where it's like overhead looking down?
Yeah,
it was.
But black and white.
Yeah.
But that was a really hard game, and every couple of years, I would just like kind of dust it off and put it in, and it was still hard as hell. I mean, I never beat that game, that Zelda game. Zelda games are, I mean, there's some that I can beat really easily, and some of them are just like, I give up. Yeah. But that was a game. I remember I got a wrestling game for the Game Boy. I think it was Superstars. I can't remember. I think it was Superstars. But I got that around the time when I was a big Ultimate Warrior mark. Or, excuse me, fan. I don't know if there's any wrestling fans listening. But I was a big Ultimate Warrior fan, and it had Ultimate Warrior on it. So damn it, I bought the game, or I told my mom, when to get the game. So, but did you? So you had?
I remember it vaguely.
You played it. I mean, you played it.
I vaguely remember some Tiger games, but I know for a fact I never had a Game Boy at all.
Even color or anything.
Nothing.
Because I never got. You know what? I never had a color Game Boy Color.
Really?
Mm-mm. I think later on, my friend got one, or he had an extra one or something, and he let me borrow his, and he never asked for it back, and I think I still have it somewhere.
My first official handheld was actually the DS.
Really?
That was my first handheld. And since it played Game Boy Advance SP games, I started buying some classic Game Boy Advance.
I forgot about that one, yes.
And then through my addiction of Game Boy Advance games, I wound up buying a very good conditioned Game Boy Micro.
Okay.
And I have that still.
Story about Advance. Okay? When I'm going to say I got the Advance first, okay? But right when the Advance came out, there was another handheld that came out. It was called the Neo Geo.
Oh!
Neo Geo Pocket. That was the most badass handheld system I have played, and stylish-wise, the style, the I guess
the feel, the weight,
the ergonomics, everything of it, the graphics, it was a beautiful system.
So it beat the Game Gear. It beat
the what?
The Jaguar.
The what?
So it's that badass. I wouldn't know because I never played it.
There was one. Do you remember the Lynx?
Oh yeah. That's another one of those things I never got.
TurboGrafx 16 and the Lynx. What was the TurboGrafx mascot main character? Who's the caveman? Bongo or something.
I forgot, dude. Because I never. If I didn't have
I had
it,
a friend that had the TurboGrafx 16. That was the only time. He was the only person I knew that actually had this TurboGrafx thing. He had that, and he had the Power Pad. You remember the little Power Pad for track and field for Nintendo?
Yeah.
But the Neo Geo Pocket, the bad thing about that was it was an import system.
Everything was expensive,
and that was a game.
That was the first system I remember as a kid. Oh, you want a Neo Geo? It's gonna be $500.
You're one step ahead of me, my friend. We're about to talk about dream systems.
Yeah. Is
there a system that was out at every point that you said, damn it, you begged and you pleaded for your parents?
It was Neo Geo because I remember playing King of Fighters, Art of Fighters. I forget the game, but it involved like dinosaurs that you were fighting each other while destroying buildings in a city.
Mm-hmm.
I forget. And they had a badass plane game, kind of like a cross between Sky Shark and R-Type.
Kind of like 1942.
Like Raiden, kind of.
Okay, yeah.
Like Raiden. Oh, wanted that so bad. And
Samurai Showdown was where it was at for me.
That's it too, Samurai Neo Geo at the time, they didn't. It was
so freaking expensive. It was like $1,000.
I think to me it was like quality, not quantity.
Exactly.
There weren't that many games.
Right.
That was the first arcade where there was a 1-player button, a 2-player button, and then that button in the middle. And if you pressed it, it flipped to the next game.
Yes.
Like there was like 4 or 5 different games.
Yes.
They had a fighting game, they had a sports game, they had the plane game, and then they had the dinosaur game.
Do you remember on this system when it was actually available to purchase? If you're a millionaire or something, you can afford it. It wasn't controllers; it was joysticks.
Yeah,
it was arcade controllers.
Yeah,
for a home system, and that was innovative.
That was a big deal at the time.
Oh, absolutely, and of course, because no one could afford it.
Yeah,
but that was. I'm probably going to agree with you on that. I'm going to say probably the Neo Geo.
The Neo Geo,
just because the exclusiveness of it, I guess. Yeah. You know the elitism of it. You know that he's like, if you had a Neo Geo, you ain't gonna mess with this guy. You know. Right?
Yeah.
Because
I always wanted that. And even now, like even if I were to decide to try to find a U system, and even now the Wii U shop and the Wii shop, they had Neo Geo as one of the systems you can buy old games from. Yeah. It won't be the same.
No.
I couldn't get that same feeling.
Not at all, no.
And that's probably not why now, more than ever, I don't buy like games up to download. I would rather go to a flea market or go to eBay or go to a pawn shop and try to find the game originally and play it on the original system to get that feeling instead of like downloading Mega Man 4 to play when I can easily go to like a pawn shop or go to a Mexican flea market and get Mega Man 4 for like $5 and then get a little bottle of alcohol and some Q-tips and clean it out, and then
we know the tricks. I don't think we have to explain the tricks here. And you know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, real quick. Games are expensive.
Oof.
Always have been, always will be. When you buy it, you think of it as an investment because it's right now $60 a pop, right?
Yeah.
What would you say would be a buyer's remorse for a video game?
Oh. When I was younger, there was this game on the Nintendo called Silent Service, where it was you were in a submarine and you were looking for ships so you can sink them and like engage in battle and try to sink them. I don't know if I had never understood the premise of the game when I was a kid, but I remember breaking at least 2 NES controllers out of rage, like throwing it against the wall until they fell apart because I couldn't get the freaking game, and I was so pissed off that my parents would not let me play Nintendo or they would not buy me another game until I played it. And I didn't. And even to this point, the fact that I still have this much rage over a fucking game of like Silent Service, it freaking
Silent Service.
Silent Service. It's over 20 years in my life, and I still remember that game. 20 years. Cleveland fans have not hated LeBron that long.
Give him time.
Black people have not hated Michael Jackson that long. I detested that game.
It's your nemesis.
Yes. If there was like a mascot shaped like the video game cartridge, the Silent Service sticker on it, I would go to prison for manslaughter. I would take it out, literally. I hated that game. Jeez. Trav.
I'm gonna, because a lot of the newer games I don't really buy them anymore. I'll buy them once I know they're good, so I can't really say anything current. But not really my buyer, but me buying the game. But when I was a kid, I waited forever to get the video game for Nintendo for Back to the Future. I don't know why this game is coming in my head right now, but that game was a big stinking pile of shit. And when I was a kid, I was waiting so much for that game to come out, and it finally came out, and I just looked around like, what is this?
These pixels do not add up to Marty McFly.
Yeah. And I think the same thing applies to, they made a video game for Back to the Future Part 2 and 3 all as one game. And you could switch, you could pretend, you can go to different games, whichever you wanted between the movies. And I think as a kid, I tried to say that was a good game. I tried to give it it's good, I'm trying.
It's
alright. But I think I was kidding myself. I don't know why there's 2 games just came up in just out of the blue in my head. I don't know.
Because back in the day, you had to have buyer's remorse. You couldn't return it. And there
was no GameStop,
and you couldn't. And some of the games you couldn't rent them because other people were renting them.
Yes,
so you'd have to just suck it up and take the hit, or have your parents take the hit.
Do you remember the precursor to GameStop? The first time I remember seeing a shop where you can actually buy used games, FuncoLand. Yes, it was always in the back of like comic books and things like that, and in current like your Sunday newspaper ads and things like that. FuncoLand, and it would tell you, this had like rows of video games that they had for a few dollars here and there. I'm like, okay, I'll go buy a used video game, sure. I remember there's one in Pasadena off of Spencer and Burke, right next to the old Target. Neither one of those are there anymore. But I remember that's where I would go. That was like the first time it was like a video game store to buy like resell games, like buy, sell, trade games, and then GameStop eventually came in. I don't know if that was a different, I think that was a different company altogether, but FuncoLand they couldn't make it. So, but Funkoland. I just remember that for some reason. I don't know. So if you have buyer's remorse, you can always go to Funkoland, return it. Now you got GameStop for now until they get out of business because of all the new stuff, the stuff that's going on with the current game consoles.
Yeah.
Which we got right now. We have the Wii U, we have PS4,
and the Xbox One.
Xbox One, which I have none of.
I will admit to this. I was in that line waiting to get the Wii U. I got the Wii U. Mm-hmm. I shelled out the $350 for the deluxe 32 gigabyte in black. Mm-hmm. I got the new Super Mario Brothers, and it came with Nintendo Land. And as good as the games were, it's the same issue that I had with the Wii for a while. I think the thing with Nintendo, it's that for the most part, a lot of people buy Nintendo solely for the Nintendo games. Yeah. So, like, when the new Mario comes out, when the new Zelda comes out, when the new Donkey Kong comes out, when you play it, you're going to be hooked on it for a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two. Mm-hmm. And then once that fades out, it collects dust, and you play everything else or you do something else until the next big major thing comes out. And I had a tendency with the Wii when I would buy new games that I would finish them so fast and complete them at 100% that there was no incentive for me to keep playing it, and then it would collect dust. Yeah. So what I did, I took my sweet-ass time on New Super Mario Brothers to the point where I didn't want to play it because at the time I was with my ex-wife and her daughter, and we would play it together, but we rarely had the time, and I didn't want to play it and beat it alone. So that sat there, and I got addicted to like 1 or 2 games on Nintendo Land, but then after that, it sat there, and then like 2 months or 3 months in, I was like, man, I need to get some kind of return on this investment because I don't want this to happen the way it happened with the Wii also. Right, yeah. So I sold it, and I took maybe a $40 loss on it.
It's not too bad, though.
Yeah. And now, having Lisa's playing Wii U with Lisa, I'm barely getting it. I'm about 85% finished with the new Super Mario Brothers that I had when I first got
Take your time with it. Have fun with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have... any of the current ones. I normally, this is how I've always been. I wait at least a couple years before I get a new system.
Decent library, get all the bugs fixed.
Yeah, exactly.
Price drop.
One of the reasons I didn't get an Xbox when it first came out was because the Red Ring of Death.
Yeah, that too.
I was like, I'm gonna buy a thing that could possibly, become a brick. Yeah. Screw that. And then that's when they introduced the S, and I was like, okay, well, I guess it's okay now. As long as they fix that little glitch. Now, are you planning on anticipating? I know you've always been a Nintendo dude, so you have access to the Wii U. Are you set? Are you good with that?
There's maybe the only thing that even remotely intrigues me to get an Xbox One is Forza Motorsports 5 because, like Forza Motorsports 4. It is co-branded with the TV show Top Gear from the United Kingdom, and I am a huge car guy. Yeah. So whenever they had Clarkson, Hammond, and James May describing all the cars and showing all these like videos of the cars, that was the incentive for me above everything else. Oh, hey, let me drive whatever car I want on the Top Gear test track. And they have the same partnership for that game for Part 5 too. Other than that, I kind of was interested in Titanfall, but they ported that down, just like they ported down Paygo 2. I kind of sort of wanted to just try out Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. If that doesn't get ported out, it's not going to hurt my feelings. Lisa's thinking about getting a new-gen console because they're doing Kingdom Hearts 3, and she's a huge Kingdom Hearts fan.
That won't be for the Wii U?
No. Xbox One and PlayStation 4. So, okay. And other than that, I don't think there's any incentive because I'm still old school. Like I don't use my video game console as my Netflix, my Hulu, my DVD player, my Blu-ray player, my streamer, my everything. If I have a video game console, that's all it's gonna do. I have a computer. I have other stuff for the rest, so that I don't overwear it out to the point where 2 years gone by I killed it because I've done everything to it instead of just do games when you gotta buy a game console for. Yeah. So there isn't anything that motivates me right now. Especially with the price, dude. $400 to step into the new console? No. You can go to Groupon and get a refurbished Nintendo Wii U for under $200.
Really?
Yeah. Factory.
You need to show me that.
Factory refurbished. And there's some good deals on some. There's some really good games on. Now the Wii U's got an established library. You've got Zombie U, which is a really good game.
Oh, dude, for E3, I saw that Zelda clips.
Yeah,
that looked freaking beautiful, man. Oh,
dude,
I was right then and there. No, literally, that same day I saw that clip from E3, I was on eBay looking for a Wii U. Seriously, I've never done it before.
Wow.
Just that one game. I've never been the guy to just like buy a system for a game, but that might do it for me. I liked the Wii U at first, and I liked it because my wife liked it also. That was a big selling point for me too. Because if she plays it, it's easier for me to justify having it out in the living room. Mm-hmm. The Wii U seemed like it was too gimmicky. You know, like there's too much stuff going on with it. Yeah. And I didn't want to mess with it at the time. And like I said before, I got the 360 with the Kinect, and we just got rid of that. But going back, like matter of fact, we were just at Best Buy the other day, and we were just walking around, just browsing, and I saw a Wii Mini. Like I guess they still have.
Oh yeah, it's the little red one, but it doesn't have online access. Like it doesn't have Wi-Fi. Oh, yeah, so all you can do is just play the disc for whatever game it's on, and that's it. Like you can play Mario Kart to your heart's content.
Right. Well, it comes with Mario Kart.
Yeah, but you can't play online. Yeah. And even now, they shut down all the servers for the Wii to transfer it over to the Wii U.
So I was looking at it, and I was like, man, I missed the games for the Wii. Because it had Galaxy.
Not entirely, my friend. Wii U's backwards compatible.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, here's some of the games I have for the Wii. I had Galaxy. No More Heroes. Oh, played the hell out of the game.
That's good.
The Smash Brothers. A game. It's not like a hardcore game or anything, but my wife loved it, and it was something that we loved to play. Boom Blocks.
Nice puzzle game.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice, little fun. We'll hang back and just and mess with the puzzle. And we tried to make that as a party game, but we found very quickly that was too much of a gimmick, to have it as a party game for when friends came over. So we gave that up, but that was a fun game that she just liked to play. So because we bought that and the sequel to it. But it was a fun little system, and I never beat the second Galaxy.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Mario Galaxy 2 and Donkey Kong Returns for the Wii. Those games, I ran through each of those in like a week or a week and a half. The Donkey Kong, I bought it on a week's vacation that I had.
Yeah.
And I plowed through it that week, and I can feel the gray hairs growing out of my head because those two games. Mario Galaxy 2, I beat it the 100 red coins and the 100 green coins. Everything. I perfected out. Donkey Kong Returns, I beat the games, but I didn't get all like the letters spelled out on all the levels because oh my god, that game! If you remember being in your teens playing the original Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo and how frustrating it was.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Imagine when you're older, you don't have the patience that you did when you were older, when you were younger. That's Returns, in a good way. Like it's challenging enough to where you'll want to keep playing, but it's not too hard that you'll just drop it and give up. But man, it was worth it. Damn, that shit was painful.
Also, when we were walking around the store, I've been telling her for a long time that I'm debating on PS4 or Xbox One. I was weighing the options. The more I was thinking about it, I told her, I think I know what I want. When the time comes for the new system, I want to go with the PS4.
Really? What set it apart?
For right now, I like my 360 for the games, and for a while I was using it as a media center. But I've noticed over the course, once PlayStation 3 has the apps that Xbox have, for whatever reason, it seems to run a little bit smoother. Mm-hmm. I have the WWE Network. Mm-hmm. That's a lot smoother on PS3, 10 times. I had the HBO app on there. It took Xbox. It was weird. It took Sony a long time to put it on there, but once they did, I think it ran a little bit smoother. Also, that's just its preferences. As far as the
like Ford or Chevy, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. And I've always been a PlayStation guy. Excuse me. I'm not gonna say PSX. I'm gonna say PlayStation. Yeah. And then PS2, PS3. I want to go with the PS4. Continue the lineage.
Yeah.
PS3, I got that they were expanding on their media, and like I said, I had some friends that were on Xbox, even though I don't play with them online. And they had, and I would, I didn't tell you this before. Another factor of me playing games on the 360 was more memory.
Yeah,
I had a 250 gig hard drive as opposed to my 80 gig
PlayStation 3.
PS3, which at the time 80 gigs was holy shit. You got 80 gigs. Now it's like that's all you got is 80 gigs.
Like 80, I wired a terabyte to mine.
Yeah, right. Yeah, kid. I've already hacked it in and hardwired and everything. I don't know. I'm just, at heart, I'm just a PlayStation guy. I think my first system after that's gonna be PS4.
Okay.
People can bitch and argue about it. They want an Xbox One, whatever. I've heard so many negative things when Xbox One was coming out. It kind of soured me on it, so I'm just gonna stick with PS4. And I think it's a little bit cheaper too, if I remember.
No, it's the same price now. The PlayStation always been $399. Xbox One was $499, but now they're selling the bundle without the Kinect Plus.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's what I'm saying. They have to modify their packages to compete with the full PlayStation package. You know, so that's another reason. I'm just going to probably just stick with them. So, wow, I think we covered everything that we're.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you want? Is there more stuff there? Anything that you want to get off your chest or anything?
Dude, something we haven't talked about yet about the handheld stuff. This is another handheld right I've got right now.
That is true. Yeah. Everybody's a gamer now.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Everybody.
Whether you think you're a gamer or not, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a smartphone and you play
if you play solitaire on your phone,
if you play Candy Crush or any Facebook games or anything like that, guess what?
You're a gamer.
You're a gamer.
If you're on Farmville and you've got like 3 stalks of beans and corn and shit that you got to give to your neighbors, if you know all that, guess what? You're a gamer.
You know what I have noticed over the years for myself, and I don't know if you're going to be the same way or not, but you probably are, I think. I used to be like a really serious gamer. You know, I would play a game. If I was stuck on something, I would keep... to
the bitter end,
and I would be more involved in what's coming out, this and that, what the hardcore games are, and everything. I've noticed over the years, I'm more of a casual gamer now. You know, it's not that important to me. You know, don't get me wrong, I love video games. Obviously, we're talking about it. We've been talking about it for over an hour now. Yeah. But it's not. I'm not a hardcore gamer.
I think you're hitting that lull point right now. I think once you get a PS4 and you start playing a lot of the games that you like, but on the new machine where it's all more vivid, more color,
It's not only that. What it is, gaming in general has gone online.
Yeah.
And it's a younger kid's, game nowadays. I'm not going to go online. I'm sorry. I don't do multiplayer games unless I know for sure my friends are on there.
Here's what I don't do that I've never done, except for maybe one game out of force. I never play computer games.
Computer games.
I never play games like if it was Call of Duty on the PC. I never got the PC version.
Yeah.
The only game I ever played was Mega Man versus Street Fighter because it was a free download that Capcom did because it was a fan made game and it was only for the computer.
Yeah.
So I had to use the computer. I had to use the keyboard, and even then, I didn't play it that much because the keyboard was too uncomfortable for me.
Yeah.
There's a mod where you can actually use like a Xbox 360 controller and plug in the USB to it, but that moment passed. Like I don't do it anymore.
Did I already mention computer games earlier? As far as like for God mode and all that stuff?
Yeah. Earlier.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I vaguely mentioned before. Yeah, then I was playing computer games back mid '90s, early in the 2000s. I was a serious computer like PC gamer.
Yeah.
First person shooters. For a while I was actually into real time strategies, Command and Conquer, Age of Empires, things like that, build your armies type thing, but until Xbox PS3 came out, that's when I realized PC games are good, but why invest in a computer game where you have to constantly kind of upgrade parts, and by the time you have it for a year, it's already outdated. You got to buy new video cards, things like that. And that was my problem. It was taking me too long to catch up. Because I have car notes, I got bills, I got other things going on, and I don't got time or the money to be throwing into my computer. Unfortunately, which is a shame, really. But But I was thinking, instead of that, why don't I just get a console?
Yeah.
And just be done with it. You know, and
especially since the last one's lasted so long. Xbox
exactly.
And
that's where my transition, I think, began from hardcore gamer, computer gamer to just casual console player, and again, that toppled on with the online aspect of it. I tried doing online, and I very quickly realized it's not for me. Especially when little kids are yelling in my ear how stupid I am about it.
Oh, that just depends what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean,
like Halo and things like that. No, I'm done with that. I tell you what, I played a game. The only time I had a good experience with just playing to get just different people. Ugh, I can't speak. The only good experience I had playing against other strangers on Xbox Live was X-Men Legends.
ooh,
Remember the overhead, gauntlet style? That was an online feature. That was the first time I really sat down, put the headphones on, and just said, screw it. People want to play, they can join me, whatever. And we were playing, and what I realized with a game like that, it had older players like myself, and we were just, it was like around midnight or whatever, and we were just kind of shooting the breeze, just, you know, having a good time and just talking, and that was fun.
I know exactly what you mean. I played a lot of online during Transformers, War for Cybertron, and Fall of Cybertron, and Call of Duty Black Ops 2, and with the headsets involved, I would have to I would not use it and just turn the volume off because there were a lot of young kids that thought they were like fucking the best shit. But when I played, the only games that I've bought that I've beaten so far, we've gotten all the achievements on, is Plants vs. Zombies for the 360, X-Men Arcade for the 360, and the original Ninja Turtles arcade game for the 360 off the arcade classics. When I played the X-Men Arcade with the 6 players and 4-player Ninja Turtles, those were guys that were our age that weren't like all hell bent on getting the most score because you knew what the whole point of the game was, and it was just for nostalgia. Shooting the shit and just like enjoying yourself. Like you're making brand new friends, and then sooner or later my like friend list went from like 8 to like 40. With guys that I didn't know because they like, hey, have you ever, you know, we're gonna do this in a couple of days. Like it almost felt like a mandate. Like, okay, dude, Friday night I'll get a 6-pack and we'll all just get on the headsets. We'll wire up and we'll make a room and then we'll just shoot the shit and keep it fun, you know. Yeah. But playing with the younger crowd, it's weird, dude. Yeah, the only exception, because you don't get the option, I was destroying people on Mario Kart for the Wii online because there was no headsets, there was no like camera, there was nothing. It was pretty much like you and 11 different ghosts that you don't know what they're gonna do, and you just balls to the wall. I loved it, and even until they stopped, even after the Wii came out, I still played that shit online. And even now, I'm playing Mario Kart 8 with Lisa online, and it's fucking awesome, dude. Because you don't have to worry about voices and opinions and all this other stupidity and like immature shit. You just play, and then if you suck, you leave, and if you're good, you keep going, and then until you don't want to go anymore. That's the other thing I was going to ask you, because I'm going to answer my own question. My favorite franchise that I keep playing is Mario Kart. Not Mario, not Donkey Kong, not Zelda, not Metroid. Mario Kart, because I have fond memories of blowing in the cartridge for Super Nintendo. I grew up through it. I got the Super Nintendo one. I had the N64 version later on because I got my N64 like years later. The Super Circuit for Game Boy Advance, Double Dash for GameCube, which is one of my favorite all-time games ever. And then Mario Kart for the DS. No, first Mario Kart for the... Yeah, it was Mario Kart for the DS. And then it was Mario Kart on the Wii. And then now Mario Kart for the Wii U.
What are you naming?
And then before that, Mario Kart 7 that was on all the Mario Karts. I played every single one of them. I've damn near mastered, if not completely mastered, every single one of the Mario Karts so far. Even from childhood, that's what I remember growing up. Like if I had to pick one franchise as my favorite of all time, it'd be the Mario Kart franchise.
Wow.
What's yours?
Two-parter. All time, even though I may not have played all the games, but my personal favorite, Zelda.
Wow.
Okay, that's my, I guess, the lineage. I guess that's if I have a guy that I go to, a game that I go to for long term.
Yeah, that's why I was leery picking Mario, because it's obvious I've got the star tattoo on my neck. It's easy for me to say Mario. I haven't even touched half of the Mario games, dude.
Exactly.
I've never played Sunshine.
Exactly.
I've never played RPG. I've never played Mario 64. I've never played Mario is Missing when you're playing as Luigi. There's a lot of stuff I haven't touched.
Okay. This is where I'm going to go into, I think, your territory over Mario Kart. Okay? I said Zelda was my overall, like all time, right? But my favorite franchise, Mass Effect.
Wow, really?
Yep.
And there's only 3 of them.
There's only 3 of them.
But you've grown up from the beginning. When it came out.
As soon as my friend Abel told me about it, he said, dude, as soon as I told him I got an Xbox. Have you played Mass Effect yet? No? Go buy Xbox. Go buy Mass Effect.
Oh, so he wasn't enough of a friend to let you borrow his.
I don't blame him. I wouldn't let you borrow it. That's for damn sure.
Even now, 8 years later, you wouldn't let me borrow the first Mass Effect.
Let me think. No.
You motherfucker!
No, I'm not gonna let anybody borrow the Mass Effect games. You kidding me? No. Just like you said, it's only 3 games, but what it encompasses, a whole universe.
That game just made you salivate because you said it's just 3 games. Do you want me to get you a napkin, bro? There's one right there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. What was I saying? Oh yes, it's a damn good game. But for people who like Mass Effect, I shouldn't have to explain that.
Yeah. That goes back to another reason why I can't invest into like Xbox One or PS4, because there's so, like I said, I feel like I've gotten really late to the Xbox party. Like by the time I got to the Xbox, there was already rumors that they were working on the next one. Mm-hmm. So I've never touched Batman stuff. I've never touched Mass Effect stuff. I'm barely now getting into some of the old Call of Duty stuff. I've never touched Halo. Even for if I were to get my hands on a PlayStation 2, I've never touched God of War. I've never gotten to the old Forzas. There's so much back catalog for me to get into, because knowing the other consoles. But
now that should make it good for you, though, because now you have pick and choose what you want to play.
Because I don't want to jump onto a console and play like Halo 5 on Xbox One without knowing what the hell happened on Halo 1, 2, 3, Reach, 4, ODST, and all these other Halo games.
Hey, you named it very good.
You know, I'm surprised I named them all, actually. I don't have any of that knowledge.
Right.
So, and even now, like we said earlier about Buyer's Remorse, half that stuff's cheap. Mm-hmm. And used. I can just get a copy or go to a pawn shop and get a copy.
I had the same feeling for that when I got the Xbox. Especially, one of us when I got the 360. For Gears of War.
I've only played part 3 a handful of times.
Buyer's Remorse. I bought part 1 and 2.
The combo?
No, it was 2 separate games. But I got them at GameStop for like $2 a piece. It was ridiculously cheap. So I was like, oh, screw it. I'll buy it. I'm not that cheap. I'm not Chris.
You don't break out change and slap it on the table. What can I get for $72?
No, I did that. No, I broke out change. I gave him quarters. I work at a bank, remember? No. Okay. So I bought that. I played Gears of War 1. I got a few missions into it. Okay. And I've heard it got better. You know, especially Gears of War 3.
Gears of War 3 is fucking boss, dude.
See? That's what I
From the handful I did. Yeah. But at the same time, that's another...
But I'm like you. I wanted to play from the start.
It wasn't its own story. Like, you had to have known a lot of what happened before for everything to make sense, for you to understand what you're doing through the game. Exactly. For me to be like, I want to get into this, but I don't know everything.
That's the only reason I went out and bought part 1 and 2. Because I figured if I get past those 2, then I'll go and do it. But... Yeah. It's just things like that. I think that's what you're talking about the the Halo things and things like that. But okay, so we got favorite series, franchises. Mass Effect, man, I'm telling you. Screw it, for people who don't know, you can start your game on Mass Effect 1, beat the game, your character continues to part 2, whatever you did in part 1 affects what you did in part 2, and then part 3 goes, and it's the same thing, whatever you did in part 1 and part 2 affects what you did in part 3.
Thank you for reminding me, I have not bought episode 3 of season 2 of the Walking Dead video game for the Xbox that I have to do. I haven't even finished episode 2 yet. Like, I got halfway through it. And just because of time.
Yeah.
Like, because... It's not that I'm a casual gamer now. When there's good stuff coming, like I know Smash Brothers is coming, right, for the Wii U.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I still keep up with.
And I'm already hooked on Mario Kart. Like all I needed like 2 or 3 good games, and I can be addicted for life. Like I know I'm never gonna get tired of this Mario Kart. As soon as I start like mastering the tracks, I'm gonna own motherfuckers. So between that, Smash Brothers will be my first one. I kind of want to see what Mario 3D World for the Wii U is all about because cats, because cat suits, and then maybe if somehow by God or the devil's great graces we wind up getting a new F-Zero game, that's all I'm gonna need, and a new Mega Man game. If there's a new Mega Man game, like I can part the water or whatever, I don't know. I'm getting that. That's it. That's all I'll need. 4 or 5 games for Nintendo. That's the way it was with the GameCube. All I had was the Mega Man collection. I had the Mega Man X collection. Other than that, I had Mario Kart Double Dash, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, I had Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door, and then I had a couple of like the Namco collection and the Williams collection and the Namco collection, I think. And other than that, those are all the games that I needed, and that's all I played on the GameCube. Yeah, like I never touched Luigi's Mansion. I never touched any of the other games. Mario Sunshine, I never touched them. Those were enough to hold me over. And Mario Baseball, that's all I needed to hold me over. The Wii, I had Mario Kart. I had a couple of Guitar Heroes, Guitar Hero Metallica. I had Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix, which is completely crazy.
I'm just gonna edit that part out.
Nah, if your wife likes dancing games, one night I'll bring it. Like it's kind of like you have the dance pad there. Like
I know what dance Revolution. I know what that is.
One of the mini missions is you run up to the flag like you're finishing the level. So you're literally running on the pad, and then when you cross the line, you jump on it. Like just little things like that to make you feel like you're actually doing Mario Brothers stuff. Gets you hooked onto the game. And there were just a couple of games for the Wii that I just needed those. And that held me over for the entire life of the game. Yeah, you know. So I'm having the same thing with the Wii U. There's just a couple of games that I'm looking for, and after that, I really don't need anything else.
I'm the same way with the 360. To your point about me, that's the same way. I'm the same way. Just give me a few games, like good games that I can sit down and play. Mass Effect, the Batman games, the Transformers games. Although I beat those pretty fast, actually. Yeah. But Walking Dead, things like that. Xbox Live has been doing the gold. You get the free games
every month. Yeah.
I've downloaded probably 7 or 8 games.
You haven't touched them.
I haven't touched a single one. I may have done like maybe 1 or 2 and played a game of it, but that's about it.
There's a reason why they're downloads now.
Exactly. Yeah. So
I wanted to give Dead Rising a chance because I was a fan of the Frank West stuff, but
I played 1 game of it. Yeah. My friend gave me a copy of Alan Wake like 2 years ago. It's on my hard drive right now. Haven't touched it. So
1 game you're anticipating that's coming.
I just said it. Zelda. But I needed Wii U for it.
I think for me, the game I'm waiting for the most is the Mighty Number 9. Mighty Number 9. I hope I get this right because it'll make me look like a complete idiot.
Won't be the first time.
The Kenji Inafune, the guy that the creator of Mega Man. Okay. Since Capcom didn't want to do anything with the license anymore and he left Capcom, he decided to make his own version of Mega Man. Oh wow! Okay. Which is the Mighty Number 9, and it got crowdfunded through Kickstarter, and it reached its goal in like 3 days. And it got to the point where it reached the goal that it's actually going to be released on consoles, like 1, 4, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Wii U. Okay. Yeah. And it's pretty much the exact premise of Mega Man, where the guy made 9 robots, and the 9th robot was the good guy, and you got to go and beat all of them to get anything that involves Mega Man. I'll give it a shot, and if it's from the original dude, I'm going to give it a focused shot. So as soon as Mighty Number 9 comes out, I'm all over that. all over it. And then a close second because Mega Man's in Smash Brothers.
Right, yeah.
I'm gonna give that a shot too.
Yeah. Oh, Smash Brothers. That was another game that caught my, anticipation level ready for the Wii U.
Destiny looks kind of cool, but first-person shooters aren't like my forte.
And it's online, isn't it?
Yeah, I practiced. Like, I'm not the best guy in first-person shooters. I like old school stuff. I like 8-bit. I like side-scrolling.
I like old school first-person shooters like Wolfenstein, Doom 2.
Yeah.
These new ones, it got me out of first-person shooters. I was playing
Too complex.
Dude, I don't want to be like being shot at this whole time, and like every time I get shot, the screen turns red, and it's like covered up the sides of my screen. It's like I can't see nothing. It's making me get hit even more. I'm just maybe it's because I'm older, and
it's because you're old, pops.
Yeah. These little kids are shooting me up all the time. Jeez. So anyway,
with bullets.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. So I think that's. I mean, are we?
Dude, I think we got our point across.
Yeah, we like games.
Yeah, they're all right.
Yeah, they pass the time.
Yeah.
These newfangled machines.
Oh god!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on our first episode. Hopefully, there'll be a second episode.
Yeah, as soon as we come up with a cool title.
Yeah, it won't always be about video games. Obviously, the title "Pop Goes the Culture." We'll talk about different things, like we mentioned before. Got maybe some comic books, cartoons, movies, TV shows. Anything that's kind of tickling our fancy.
I'm gonna put you on the spot then, since you said that on the air.
All right.
We have to watch the MTV Video Music Awards. That's pop culture to somebody, and they still do it.
They still do them.
Yeah, so we'll have to watch it one night, and we'll review it on the next.
Can I download the MTV Video Music Awards from '92?
Oh, the good stuff. We can go back and revisit some old ones. Oh, dude. Yeah.
We'll do a review of it. Yeah, we'll review. Yeah. I'll write that down. All right, review. I'll write that down right now. MTV Video Music Awards. VMAs.
Yeah, the VMAs. The VMAs.
There, I see I wrote it down right there. Is that all I forget there? If this is a video thing, you see it right now. Okay.
So we'll find a way to get this out to everybody. If you're hearing it now, then we got it to you.
We were successful in our endeavor.
So yeah, you can. What's your? You're not on Twitter, are you?
No. What's Twitter? I'm an old man. Remember?
Where can they find us?
They can't.
Don't find us. We'll find you.
YouTube. We'll find a way. We'll get this out here somehow. If not, we'll do something. We'll get this out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right.
So
is this the part where we sign off?
This is us signing off.
Okay. Are you gonna do a catchphrase or anything?
God damn it.
That's your catchphrase.
Bye, everybody.
Go fuck yourself, San Diego.